sector is sort of dragging the S&P down a little bit, and we'll look at both of those. Looking at the S&P here, this is an alternative wave count that I've got. But it doesn't make much difference because it's still going to give the same outcome in the short term as our other counts. So what we're actually looking for here over the next few days is a little move to the upside here in 5 waves, and then folding over and moving down here. Now, the US banking sector that I wanted to have a look at, and it's pretty much the same. So in a bit of a nutshell, you'll see the same with Morgan's as well, same as this is Goldman's here, daily chart, and as I mentioned, Morgan's is pretty much the same. Citi's a little bit stronger, but generally speaking, the financial section in the US is pretty much following this, and that is that from this top here, we were looking at 5 waves down through here, and we know with Elliott, if we get 5 waves in the opposite direction of the trend up, then we'll get an A wave and a B wave and a C wave in 5 waves, and then because we got 5 here, after a correction, we'll get another 5 here. So we've had a nice short trade in all of this here. I have talked about long trades in this. So we're looking for a little move up into here. Now, I will go into the tick chart here just to have a look at this. This is 100 ticks here. And the reason for this too is because basically that ABC, I was talking about the A wave, little A, B and C here for the B wave, and then 5 waves up for the C wave here, is what we'll be looking for in the S&P 500 as well. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and then we'll look to short into the market at that particular point. So that's where the banking sector is, and this little 5 waves up here will be in play with the banking sector, and then we'll see that move lower. Now, we know that the technology stocks are leading to the upside, so we will have a quick look at the tech stocks here. So this is the NASDAQ here on a daily chart. Of course, you've got your comp and your financials as well, but in a nutshell, this is sort of where the trend is in a way. So just looking at the bigger picture here, it's extending itself up more so than other markets, but we could look at this as primary wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4 here. And any trend that started in 2016 from this low here, and you'll find that the European markets are like this too, the DAX, the Australian market, the ASX 200, the banking sector in the US started on this low here as well. The European banking sector started further along here in the dates, and then later halfway along here in June, July sort of thing, and then Australian banking sector started quite late in this sort of area here. So different banks are doing different things, but the US banking sector has been a bit of a central theme through the US and European markets here. But in a nutshell, from wave 4 here all the way up to wave 5 here, we're looking at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then a really strong third wave that's sort of unwinding here, and then there'll be the 4th wave and the 5th wave, oopsie daisy, and the 5th wave, so on into this point here. So we're still moving up. So from wave 2 to wave 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves. We're looking at 1 and 2, and then moving up into the 3rd, and then the 4th and the 5th. From wave 2 here to wave 3 here in orange, which is minor degree, we're looking for 5 waves of minute degree. So wave 1, wave 2 here, and then all the way up. So we're just looking for a top in here now, and then we'll see wave 4 come into play, then wave 5 come into play here. And this, of course, has been driven by, I won't go into a lot of them, but this is just Apple here on a daily chart, weekly chart, just to make it a little bit cleaner. And if you've got a bit of an eye for Elliott, you'll see that we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1, back for wave 2. And this is all of the 3rd wave moving up here. So this is a weekly chart here. So we've got 1 and 2 in here. The 3rd wave is in the middle, which is the strongest. and then we've got fourth and the fifth here. So we're looking for a top in here, and then the fourth wave back here. So this will tie in with the US banks, the S&P 500, and so on, and then we'll look for another move to the upside there. So that's what sort of really, extend the technology stocks are really extending the market to the upside there, and these and so on. So I want to go and have a look at the other side of the pond. So I want to start with the UK market because it's also quite strong as well, but will be falling into the same sort of situation as well shortly. So from this wave 2 here all the way up to wave 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves, and those 5 waves we can look at as wave 1 here, then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave for wave 2, then a bit of a spike here from the elections, and wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and we're looking for 5 waves up here. So this will take a little bit longer. The UK is doing its own thing in its own little way. It's I won't go into that, but basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to finish off here for the daily chart here, and then wave 4 and wave 5. So this will take its time here a little bit. The DAX, I'm just going to stay here on the week. I might dive in a little bit. We'll see. Wave 4 here. And from wave 4 here, we're looking for wave 5 to the top here. Okay, so we're looking at 5 waves in terms of 1 and 2 here, all the way up to the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, and the 5th wave here of the 5th. So every trend's got a beginning, a middle process, and an ending process. So we haven't gone into the ending process yet. We're finishing quite a strong bull market in play here. So this can take us into the end of the year before we see this. But when we get to this point here, this is when you're going to see, shares and property and so on, move into bear mode after that particular point in time. So really we're looking for a little move into here, closer to the sort of close to the 13,000, but it could be anywhere above the 12.8 here. I won't go into that, but that will top out at the same time as the S&P and so on at that point there. Now I want to have a look at Australia. Within Australia, I want to start with the with CBA, and the reason for that is that the ASX 200 is weighted more strongly to the finance side. I think it's 36-37% over the materials section, and within the finance, CBA takes about 8 or 9% of that weight. So really, it's a leading indicator, and I really feel that it needs to be brought into the analysis. It's interesting also too that from the GFC here in 2009 here, the ASX 200 hasn't taken this top out here yet. It's reasonably close to it, and we can look at that, I guess. But you can see that CBA has just sort of, moved way above this previous high here. So in this case here, we've got a very clear count here in terms of wave 1, wave 2 in Elliott terms, a nice long 3rd wave here, a 4th wave here pulling back the 40% at 38.2. It's just moved below that somewhat, and then we're looking for 5 waves up. I have to point out though that in corrections with wave 4s, they can be quite complicated. So we may end up with more of a complicated thing here. We may end up with this is just the A wave here, a B wave here, and then a C wave coming back down into these lows here, and then moving up from there. Now, I can't confirm that's going to occur just yet, but I think we're on the right track here. And I will dive in here a little bit just to point things out a little bit here. So I'm just going to go to the daily chart here. Now, as I just mentioned, that with this particular market and wave fours in general here, I've got it so far as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here, and that's fine. In fact, that C wave would go where the B wave is, but there's two counts here, so we can have wave four here basically and wave four over here. Okay, if wave 4 is going to be over here, then I need to take this as the low here, which is the low. And I know I've got 3 waves up there, so that makes it corrective. So I can label that wave A and then a B here. And then I've got 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So it can be wave C here. So it can be an A and a B and a C here, which would in turn make this a larger B wave over here, and then this becomes the A wave over here, and this becomes the C wave over here for wave 4. And we have turned down rather sharply here, and that's fine. Basically, I need to be aware that the market can move to here, but I like to move on evidence and gathering that evidence, and this is what we're doing at the moment. We picked the top, and we were looking for a pullback into this box here, the 50-60% retracement level. So even though that this is the low here, if the other count is basically moving this away here, and I'll move that away here, and that puts wave C here with wave 4 here, and then and this is quite plausible as well. So we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for wave 1 up here. So I can pretty much remove those guys, and then that would leave me with an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here for wave 2. So what we're looking for in the banking thing here is that, and the other banks are much the same as well in the the major ones. So we're looking at this as an A wave down, a B wave, and then a C wave down. Then we'll start our buying, but we'll need the right patterns here. We'll need the right setup on the 80, and if that's the case, we'll be able to trade from 80 all the way up to 100. There'll be levels that we need to work out along the way, but that's what we'll be looking for. But we do need to be careful because it can drop out of bed and come down into this space here. So we do need to get the evidence of a corrective move here, and we'll be looking at the finance sector, the banking sector, we'll be looking at the other banks, we'll be looking at what driving it and so on with the currencies and so on. So carry trade and so on. So with this pattern here so far, I just want to point out where we are in that. I can't remember if we've been working on the 1 hour chart or 15-minute chart. I'll just need to change it. Okay, no big deal, but I'm just going to go to the 15. Might even have to go to the tick chart, I think. Oh no, this will do. Okay, so in this case here, I'm assuming this is wave 1 here, but it may not be. It might be more serious top here, okay? So what we're looking for here, as I mentioned in the US banking sector, we were looking for much the same sort of thing here. And in all of those indices we're looking at a small little 5 waves up. So I think this is where it'll take us here. So with CBA here, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to here as wave A, and then we'd been looking for an A wave, and then the B wave in here, which at a target point on this 81 area here, we got that, and then we're looking for wave C to take us up into this area here, and we're looking for 5 waves here, and it's nice to see the market open firmly here as well. So realistically, we're looking for a few days up into this space here, and then we'll be looking for a move down here, and this is pretty much what the XJO will do as well. So let's just find that for a moment. The cash market's got a bit of a tricky count here. The move down through here in this market here is it can be counted in different ways. I can count it as an A wave here and a B wave here and a C wave here, and then call that the A wave here. I can put the B wave into this space here. I know it's going to take a few more days to sort itself out in this space here, but we'll be looking for it to move lower. There are different ways to count this here, and I only like to move on evidence. This is my sort of preferred count here. A little bit messy, but from the top, this is the top here, a bit hard to follow, but an A and a B and a C wave here for the A wave, then an A wave here, B wave here, and looking for a C wave back up into this space here into the 61.8% mark here. So if I can just grab that here, looking for that, can bring that onto the 80 here. So yeah, we're basically looking at a little move in here for that here, and then a turn in the market. But we won't short this either without the evidence, and the evidence would need to be 5 waves down, 3 waves back up. That 5 waves down becomes our reference point, and then we can short there. At the current moment, we're long here, and we'll stay long for a little while yet. Now, the other things, we're seeing oil move to the upside, hitting the $50 range as well. Just looking at, I'll just bring this into this fold here. Now, we're pretty keen to go long on oil, but we feel that this move up through here is just a corrective move at this stage here. As an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here. So we're looking, we want to see we're looking for one more move down before we start buying oil. If this becomes a tested support here for oil, well, then we'll start looking at oil stocks. Now the iron ore business is looking for a bounce now. So I'm just going to bring this in. So I'm not that keen buying right on low, so that's we were going to buy BHP today, but I'm not doing it on the low without any sort of evidence. But basically, this move down through here is expected to have a bounce here now, so that bounce can come back up to here and then move down for another move here. It can also, because this counts as an A wave here, a B wave here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So I don't know if it's wave C or wave 3. So this move could be coming back to wave 4 to here. But what it will do will give us a chance to get in on any of the moves up. So Glencore, BHP, Rio, so on and so on and so on, can move into this space here. Some of the markets, Fortescue's should bounce. South 32 should bounce. They should have their lows in place, but I'm not going to go into those markets until I get the first initial little 5 waves up, then a pullback, and I have my reference point. I have my setup. I'm looking for a safe trade. Sure, the money's in the tops and the bottoms, but also too you can accumulate more risk over time, and it's better to wait for the evidence to move. But I'm just pointing out that the iron ore can move back into this space. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to cover a few of the minerals. I just wanted to look at the different banks in different countries and some of the indices, just to give you a bit of a feel for what's going on. Of course, we cover this in a lot more detail, and we put trades out every day and so on and so on, but just for the blog, to give you a bit of an idea of where things are, in case you've been wondering